Hi, I'm Montana. This is Enchanted DIY, where I make Enchanted DIY that you gotta try. So today I'm gonna show you guys how I made we made two different like oddity, curiosity inspired wall art, wall decor. So they're really easy. Like they didn't take that long to make at all, and they're super cute if you like that kind of like um, aesthetic. So we have these two like they're like snakes. I don't know if you can see that. Super cute. Yeah, they're really cute. I like them a lot. I think they came out really cute. And then for the second one, we made this like butterfly wall decor thing. Super cute. I wish I didn't put varnish on this, but I kind of wish I did. But I still think it looks really cute. Yeah, I like this. I kind of wish I bought more butterflies, but I still like how it looks. If you guys want to add more butterflies, you could add two more on each side, or just yeah, two more on each side, or just kind of play with it on how you kind of like it. I really still like how it came out. I think they look really cute. And yeah, that's pretty much it. They're really easy, super affordable. They didn't take that long at all, and they just like liven up. They bring a little bit more character and like more aesthetic to your living space, like if you like this kind of artwork. But if you guys want to see how I made them, then just keep on watching.
Hi guys, so today we're gonna need for this first DIY these two wood planks, some gel stain. I got these from Michael's, these snakes, so two little snakes, and some paintbrushes, and some gloves, and then some glue. I used E6000, but you can use hot glue. So we're gonna take this plastic wrap off these two wood plates. They're 5x7. You can see right there, oval frames, plate thingy, whatever things. And then I'm using this gel dark walnut gel stain. I'm gonna actually sand these because there's a little bit of like imperfections on the edges, so I'm gonna sand it down so it's more smooth. Okay, now we're gonna get a paintbrush and then we're gonna go outside and stain these wood plates and make sure to get some gloves as well. Okay, so the wood stain is now done drying, and we're gonna glue on our snakes. So with this E6000, you want to make sure that where you're doing this at is really well ventilated, or do it outside, just because the fumes are pretty strong. But if you have hot glue, you can just use hot glue as well. So we're just gonna take these snakes out really fast, and I probably should have wore gloves, but I didn't. Oops. But we're just gonna be really careful and put this glue on the snake. And now we're just gonna carefully set it on and align it to the wood. So it looks pretty good. And now we're gonna clean it up with some Q-tips, just where some of the glue spill out on the edges. We're just gonna kind of clean it up a little bit. Okay, so now that we're done with that one, we're gonna start on this one. We're literally gonna do the exact same thing. Just put the glue on the back of the snake, and then we're gonna set it down carefully in the middle of the wood plank and then push it down with our fingers. Make sure it's on there good. And now we're just gonna clean up the areas where some of the glue came out from underneath the snake when we pushed it down. So we'll just clean that up, make it look better, just because we don't really want glue sticking out. Especially if you're using hot glue, this happens a little bit more. So just make sure you're either using less glue, or you make sure, just be careful so that the glue doesn't spill out of the edge or the edges. Okay, we're all done gluing that. So we're gonna let them dry and we're gonna go on to our next DIY. All right, for this one, we're going to need wire cutters, a wood board, some wood gel stain, paint brushes, a bigger one and a smaller one. We're gonna need some black paint, some butterflies. You can get these at Michael's. Some gloves, sandpaper, cup of water, glue, varnish, and somewhere to put your paint and your varnish. So now I'm just going to sand down the wood plank. I actually thrifted this wood plank. You can get yours at Michael's or Hobby Lobby or whatever craft store that you have. I'm using the brush to clean away any of the dust when I'm done sanding. And now we're just going to get some of that gel stain and put it on. I realized that the stain, you can actually stain inside. I was actually staining outside with the other project, but apparently you can just stain inside. It says it's safe to stain inside. So I started just staining inside for this second project. Okay, so now it's all done drying and we're just going to put some masking tape around the edges just because we're going to paint the edges black. So we're going to just put some masking tape so we don't ruin the surface where we stain the wood at. Okay, so now we're all done with putting the masking tape around the edges of the wood. I'm just gonna grab some scissors. There's kind of a flap right here of tape that I just need to cut off just so it's perfect. So when we paint the edges black, that tape won't get in our way. So there's still a little bit that I'm gonna cut just so it can look perfect. Okay, so we cut that masking tape as good as we could. We just want to make sure we do that so when we do paint with the black, the lines are crisp when we take the masking tape off. Okay, so now we're just going to get the black paint and start painting the edges. Okay, so now that we painted all around the edges black, we're going to let that dry overnight, and then we're going to come back in the morning and take off the masking tape. Okay, so it is now morning and it's all dry, so now we're going to take off the masking tape. This is my favorite part. It's so satisfying. Okay, so it looks really good. There are some spots that I'm just going to do a second layer on some of the spots just to make it a little bit darker. And there were some areas that I needed to fix, but they weren't super bad. I just wanted to darken up the black. Okay, so it's all done drying, and now we're going to add our high gloss varnish. We're gonna get a cup of water and a paintbrush, and we're just gonna put the varnish into our tray. So we're just gonna paint one coat of the varnish. Okay, so now that we got one coat of that varnish, we're gonna let that dry, and then we're gonna come back, and then we're gonna paint the edges with the varnish after it's all done drying. Okay, the first coat is completely dry, and now we're gonna add a second coat of varnish. This time, I'm just gonna add the varnish directly to the board. Should have done it the first time, and I accidentally put a little bit too much on. Oh well, don't put this much on. And then I decided to get a foam brush, which actually worked a lot better, and it was a lot quicker than just using the paintbrush. And then I also did the edges where I did the black paint as well. Okay, so now that we're done doing the second layer of varnish, we're gonna just let it dry completely, and then we're gonna come back and then put some butterflies on it. Okay, so now the varnish is all done drying. I did do 2 coats of varnish on the top, and then I did only 1 coat of varnish on the black edges, just because I just didn't think the black edges needed that much because it looked good. And now we're going to add these butterflies on. We're just going to get our wire cutter and start cutting these wires off of the butterflies. Okay, so I cut all the wires off the butterflies. Now I'm going to kind of play with it to see where I want to add the butterflies. I wish I had more because I wish I did 2 on the outsides instead of just 1, but I still think it looks really cute. And now we're going to grab our glue and some gloves and start gluing the back of the butterfly and applying them onto the board. And if you are using the E6000 glue, make sure you're in a well-ventilated area or that you're doing it outside because it is pretty strong. Okay, we're all done. I love how they turned out. It was so easy. I really hope that you guys give it a try.
Okay, so if you guys enjoyed this video, just make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. And I hope to see you guys in the next video.